Welcome to Trial Lawyer Prep. What if you could hang out with trial lawyers and jury consultants? Ask them about connecting with clients and juries more effectively. Then take strategies, tactics, and insights to increase your success. Each week, Elizabeth Larrick takes an in-depth look at how to regain touch with the everyday world, understand the emotional burden of your clients and juries, and use focus groups in this process. Elizabeth is an experienced trial lawyer, consultant, and founder of Larrick Law Firm in Austin, Texas. Her goal is to help you connect with juries and clients in order to improve your abilities in the courtroom. Now, here's Elizabeth.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Trial Lawyer Prep. Thank you so much for joining us in 2023. You may be listening to this a little bit later, and that is certainly okay. But to those who are right on track, welcome. I wanted to start out today with a reader shout out. This was a review for the podcast, Amazing Podcast. Elizabeth does a fantastic job, and every bit of content helps make you a better trial lawyer. Also, her voice and demeanor are wonderful to listen to. Well, thank you so much. That was Monty Tynes out of Mississippi. So thank you so much, Monty, for that review. I always appreciate a review that helps other people find this podcast. So please rate a review on your favorite podcast app. All right, so let's start this episode. And I really want to focus this particular year, so 2023, let's think about the next few weeks, months, of how this podcast can better help you. And we're focused on preparation for trial lawyers. And I really want to look at how can we look at things differently, or maybe look at new opportunities, new ideas for you to plug in and use. There are so many wonderful things that folks are doing, and sometimes just spreading the word on, hey, I did this, it worked better. I did that, it did not work well. And as you listened in my year-end review for 2022, I like to look at technology. So we're going to talk a little bit about technology along the way this year to find things that can help you do your job better, maybe market better, maybe have easier flow and systems within your office to get things done. And so today we're going to talk about focus groups and tackle one of the questions that I get a lot, but I think is also really important, which is when is the right time to run a focus group? And we're talking about focus groups. We're not talking about mock juries. So let me just set that out right away. And with each one of these little focus groups that we're going to talk about, I'm going to try and confine it for you and put some parameters on it so you can know, like, okay, so you could technically run one anytime, but that doesn't help anyone. So it's helpful to have kind of a focus and a framework. And so we're going to look at 6 spots when you can run a focus group in the case. But the first hurdle you'd always want to make sure that you're tackling, is this the right case? And got to be thinking about the value. Is this the case you want to spend the time on, right? Is this the case you want to have this expense on? Is there going to be a trade-off when you're expending your time, your expenses, your resources, and getting that value back out? So this podcast, I'm assuming you've done that kind of calculating, like, okay, this is the case. This is a large case. And again, sometimes this is a case where it's like, is this going to be as difficult as we think, or is it going to be easier? Are people going to get it? And that's why with our 6 different places you can run focus group, we're starting off right off the bat with before you even file a lawsuit. And I talked a lot about using this in case planning in an episode a couple weeks prior. And that episode has much more detailed about what it is to run a focus group before a lawsuit. But basically the rundown would be that you are looking at maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour max. You're just tossing out some facts and getting some feedback. And it's helping you plan what people want to know more about, what's important to them, test some things that you think are important, and does a jury give it back to you? But a short and sweet one, just to kind of give you, again, some framework for the case, and then also help you down the road. The next spot that I would suggest to run a focus group is after key deposition testimony. And by key depositions, I'm talking about the defendant, the corporate rep, maybe there's a supervisor, key eyewitness statements, if the plaintiff, having those as well. And then basically putting that together where again, we're looking at maybe an hour, but you're looking at maybe getting 5 to 7 minutes of each video deposition testimony and just getting people's blink reaction. Are these people credible? Does this story make sense? Who might be the weak link, right, in these stories? But that's really going to help you know where to hone in. Are things fitting into your theory the way that you hope they are? But it's a really easy focus group to do. It is a little bit labor intensive because you have to find those pieces of testimony. You've got to create those clips. If you've got a great video editor, use them, right? Save your resources and have them do it for you. If you have somebody in-house that does it, there are lots of programs that will do it. There is a learning curve to them, so I'm not sure whether it's worth your time to learn it unless that's something you're going to be doing often and frequent. I do it often and frequent. I have been doing that with focus groups. I learned it through fire on one of the very first trials that I worked with Mr. Keenan, the Keenan Law Firm, but Movavi is what I use. But again, I'm not going to encourage you to go learn any kind of video editing. If that's just not your thing, don't worry about it. Hire it out. Have somebody else do it. That's also what you're going to hear a lot is, hey, if you can delegate this task to someone else, let's do it. Let's save you that time, right? You're still going to get the same value, but you're going to save your time. All right, third place to run a focus group would be in the 30 days before mediation. And I also have 21 days on here, so kind of a window, because sometimes what happens is mediations, oh, we're going to do one. Oh, there it is. The court set one. It's 20 days away. What do we do? Well, I encourage you because right before mediation, the hope is that you've got everything together. There aren't any major missing pieces. You know what people are going to say. You know the defenses. You know the theories. And you can put that all together into a mediation presentation and then test that presentation. Again, these are short focus groups we're talking about. You're probably going to need to take an hour on this because, again, if these are your larger cases, you've got a lot of facts, a lot of evidence, right? You've got to condense that down into that fancy mediation presentation, then show that to the focus group. Ask very simple questions. I think it also helps you to kind of put everything together. One of the reasons I love doing focus groups when we get closer towards mediation, closer to trial, closer to the end of discovery is it really is focusing us to skinny down, to start formulating that opening statement, start looking at things because discovery starts, it's like you got the whole world, you've got all this discovery, you don't really know which way it's going to go, but that doing it, mediation really makes you focus in, formulate everything. That's why I love doing those focus groups because then it pushes you to do it even earlier and then you'll have time to regroup, re-edit, go back forward again. Also having the confidence from that focus group feedback. All right, our fourth spot that I suggest to run a focus group would be 90 days before the end of discovery. Now, you could do 60 days as well, but the purpose of this focus group is to make sure you have everything you need. So this may be a little bit bigger focus group. This may be a 2-hour or even a 3-hour focus group because you're really trying to make sure you've got all the puzzle pieces in place, right? All the evidence is fitting together. You're not making any leaps, right? You're not saying things you can't prove. And if there is a hole, if there is something that's missing or a big red flag for the focus group, you can go get it. You can go get that deposition. You can go find that missing eyewitness. Get that police officer's deposition nailed down if that's what's missing. And again, it just helps you like, okay, we've got everything or we don't. And you have time to go get it. So many heartbreaks happen when you were in the focus group and discovery's done and they're saying, hey, well, I need to hear from what the police officer has to say. Well, oh no, I need to hear there was an eyewitness that was on the police report. Why don't we have that? I need to see that. Oh, you're hiding something because it's not there, right? Then all these assumptions happen. So save yourself that heartbreak. Do the focus group before the end of the discovery period. Our fifth place would be, again, if you've not noticed, we're kind of progressing through the litigation phases. So this would be 60 days before trial. Again, we're forcing you to get your opening together. We're doing an opening versus opening here. Maybe we're doing an opening plus some evidence, but we're really focusing in on trial opening statement and making the lawyer put things together, get it down on paper, get it ready to present, get that PowerPoint ready. we're getting ready for trial at this point. We really want to make sure that we are keying in on what the jury wants to hear and wants to see. And our last place would be 30 days out from trial. I personally love doing focus groups like the weekend before, but that's very stressful. Don't stress yourself out. Just keep it, even if it's 30 days out, you're still going to get a lot of good information. You still may not have all of the motions in limine heard and the evidence, what's coming in, what's coming out. You can probably make pretty good guesses, though, if you're 30 days out from trial, what the judge is going to do. Hopefully you already have all those rulings and you can have a focus group that really is focused in on the evidence that is coming in. But if not, you're going to have a good shot at it. So all of these are great opportunities, great places to help you prepare the case better. You may not get through to the trial. You may just get through mediation, but they're all opportunities to take in that place to help you grow the case better, to help you look at things with a new set of eyes. Anytime you can get that outside perspective, move past, right, get out of the weeds, get that 30,000 foot view, you're going to be able to prepare that case so much better. And that's really a lot about what focus groups are. And that's why beginning the episode I said, these are about focus groups, not mock trials, not mock juries. This is helping you get perspective, getting that perspective over and over and over again to make sure, okay, am I hitting what they want to hear? Do I have everything in order? Can they see this presentation? Where am I making leaps in my evidence? And hey, if nothing else, if it just builds your confidence, then that's great too, right? You may have everything done. Elizabeth, I know how to do this. I'm going to run these focus groups. They're all going to agree with me. Hey, that's great too. Confidence is good. We need that because there's a lot of uncertainty in what we do, and having confidence helps. So I hope that this podcast episode was helpful for you. All these different opportunities to run a focus group, 6 different places before the lawsuit, after key depositions, 30 days before mediation, 90 days before the end of discovery, 60 days before trial, and 30 days before trial. You could always do more. You could do less, but I always encourage you to at least do 1 or 2. That way you can, again, keep with that outside perspective to help you keep moving along. And they're fun. It's inspirational, right? Places to be creative. So I hope this episode was helpful. I look forward to more episodes with different opportunities and ideas for you to prepare your case better. All right, until next time, thank you.